joining me this evening to discuss really where are India and China likely to go from here ahead of that crucial meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping, the Chinese president. I'm joined by Abdul Bukti, international representative of the Baloch Republican Party, joining me via Skype from Zurich. Joining me from New Delhi is Sushant Sareen, senior fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation, and also with me from Delhi is Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, joining us live from Delhi. But Abdul Bukti, who is with us from Zurich. Abdul Bukti, the question is the Baloch issue. Is this something that has become the center point of this regional politics between India, China and Pakistan? China, when it visits India, it stops over at Pakistan. India raises the issue of Balochistan. India raises the issue of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Is all of this becoming posturing between these three powers, and therefore is the tension in this region likely to be growing rather than decreasing due to the strategic relations between these three powers?
I think that is true, because this region, especially Balochistan, and in the light of China-Pakistan economic corridor, it should be the region where every eye should be, like at this point of time, especially after during such a event like G20 summit. Balochistan should be a very important issue to discuss. Like China is investing $46 billion against the wishes of indigenous and local Baloch people, and Pakistan is using violence to force the Baloch people to accept the so-called China-Pakistan economic corridor. But I want to send the message to China that maybe in joining with Pakistan in their crimes against Baloch people and atrocities, maybe they will be successful in building the China-Pakistan economic corridor, but they will certainly not be able to sustain it and to maintain it for a long time, because Baloch have always resisted Pakistani occupation, and they have always resisted foreign aid and investment in Balochistan in the name of no matter what it be, like in trade or maybe some military or financial aid to Pakistan, because Pakistan has always been using such kind of aids and investments to crush the political and peaceful demands of Baloch people.
And Bukti, do you think India has sent the right message to China about Pakistan by raising the Baloch issue, that India can also raise the strategic flags, so to speak, in the region if China pushes it too far?
Of course, we think that is a very good decision by India to raise the Baloch issue at a very important forum like G20. I think it should not be some regional politics. It should be the responsibility of India to raise the Baloch question, because Pakistan has always been doing this. Pakistan is like you say, that Pakistan is playing a role of spoiler against everybody in the region, like against any country. Even from Americans, they get support and they use terrorist activities to continue that war, so they keep getting on funds. Especially with also like this with India, they train terrorists, they send them into Kashmir, they send them into Mumbai and attacks. And especially in such a situation, it is very important for India to retaliate, not only because Pakistan is doing this, but because also it is the responsibility of India to raise the Baloch issue, to speak for the Baloch rights, and to do what is right, what is their responsibility.
Abdul Bukti, taking your last comment on that, how do you see this entire issue moving forward? Balochistan could be a new strategic flashpoint as far as the strategic balance in this part of Asia is concerned. How much do you see China actually siding with Pakistan, or will China play the balancing act on this issue between India and Pakistan?
I think China has already sided with Pakistan, because investing $46 billion against the wishes of Baloch people, who are the local people, and against their consent. And that too, China very well knows that this money is not going to be to be used for the development of those people. They are going to be used to crush them. So it means that China has already sided with Pakistan. So it is the time that the countries like India and those who have a similar interest like the Baloch, they should join hands and they should take the side of the Baloch and raise their issues. Because as far as your question with China is concerned, China has already become a crime partner of the Pakistani forces and Pakistani army. Like yesterday, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Nawaz Sharif was there, and he once again pushed the question. He thanked the Southern Command, like former Southern Command of the army, that he was very happy with his effort. What can an army officer do there if it is for development, if it is for the betterment of the people? How can that be a responsibility of army officer? Of course, he was only praising his efforts because he was using force. He was using force to crush the peaceful and political demands.
That's right.
Against the wishes of Baloch people. This China-Pakistan economic corridor. Once again, I want to emphasize on this fact, this thing, that China should not consider that they can build and sustain China-Pakistan economic corridor only because of use of force and only because Pakistan army is much stronger than the Baloch.
That's right. Can China actually pull back on the China-Pakistan economic corridor? Can China actually avoid India taking a stronger and a much more prominent position on South China Sea issues? And of course, what happens to the next NSG meeting that is slated for November? All of these issues will be part of the meeting between Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Just how both countries will balance their strategic interests versus economic and strategic cooperation in the region is the big challenge for both these countries. I thank my guests, Maruf Raza, Rajiv Dogra, also Sushant Sareen and Abdul Bukti. I thank you all very much. At this point in time, I'll sign off from Hangzhou. We'll take a short break. Tanvi coming up with news and updates after this very short break.